Hey guys, this is Chemo Kid, and this is going to be my first update on the Uddopuukko. This is from a friend in Germany, and he goes by the name of Udos on YouTube. So check him out. I'll put his channel in the description box under this video. Really cool dude, very knowledgeable, and he has a really neat outlook on knives in general, and it really shows in his handmade blades. And Oscar wants to show up again in the video, so we'll give him his time. But when you get this knife, first off, you'll notice some, some peculiar things about it. First, the parachute cord. It's not in a knot. It's actually burnt together, and that's very uncommon. See right here. This will be the neck knife I wear today by Bastinelli Creations, and it's also produced by Viper Knives. And you can see there's a knot right there. That's how it came from the factory. So when I have this in my shirt, people can see this knot. So a really neat thing that it's flat, it's low profile as far as the lanyard goes, but he also chose to put the burnt piece right here on the sheath instead of over here. So it's a smooth, continuous flow of parachute cord, and you don't notice the knot, or there's no knot to actually notice, so it won't mess with your t-shirt or anything. The next thing is the sheath. It's very simple in design, and I really like it. I'm not sure if those are called Chicago screws, but they're not pinned together. It's just screwed together, and they're not rivets either, so he doesn't need a rivet gun, it's really cool. I know how he feels, because when you're working with limited tools, you have to improvise. And this sheath is really good. It doesn't click into place. It's totally a friction sheath for Kydex, but it fits extremely securely. It's a simple fold-over style so it limits the amount of screws or rivets he has to deal with. The next part of the sheath that's really fascinating, I've never seen this on a blade before, especially a neck knife, we'll put it on, is this thumb ramp right here. So you can pull out the blade, and let's see if we can use it like a machete real quick. Let's see. But yeah, it's extremely sharp. Have some telephone book paper. He does some really fine cut test with some telephone book paper as well. And it's a convex grind. And I know how that goes, because when you're a knife maker, a convex grind is a easier grind to make, and plus it's extremely effective. So, but before we get into the blade, we're still onto the sheath. So we have this thumb ramp right here. So after we get done using the blade, it's time to return it, and I can actually put it in with one hand using my thumb, and I can get it tight again. So, for example, this Bastinelli blade, I pull it out. There's no way I can possibly, I can get it in there with one hand, but it's very inconvenient. This was actually designed to place back in with one hand, and he didn't tell me anything about this. It's just when me and Hisatsu 5 were handling this knife, we got to see a lot of his philosophy when he's making a blade, and he's very simple. The design is very simple, and it's very effective. You can take the blade out and put it back in, and you don't even have to think about it. In fact, I don't think we ever grabbed the sheath and put it back in. It was just so natural for us to use that thumb ramp, we immediately saw its purpose. So that's really cool that he made that way, and hopefully other people can catch on, and he can get some credit for that. So that's really neat. It's one of my favorite features about the knife. The next thing that's odd and different is this handle. It's a parachute cord wrap epoxy. He's not the first person to do a parachute cord wrap with epoxy, but I've never seen it done like this, and I like it. Now, it's a little bit different as far as aesthetics goes, but it's very functional, and you don't have to deal with any rivets, or you don't have to have a drill press. And although I think it looks like you used a drill press to drill that through, that's not a problem, but you don't have to deal with much with the handle scales. All you have to do is, and this is a rat tail tang, you can see the tang right here, and his philosophy is that this neck knife is actually stronger than, say, something like this. And if you watch his video on it, it actually makes some sense. So when the knife is in some lateral stress, this a parachute cord is actually reinforcing the tang. Now, you know, we have a rat tail tang, so that might not be as strong, but like for this knife, for instance, if you were starting to put some lateral stress on this one, which would be really hard to do, but the scales, there's a possibility the scales could somewhat come off before the knife really started bending. This way, with these permanent scales on, there's no way the knife can separate from the scales unless you like actually took it to a bench grinder and somehow started grinding off this handle, which would take a really long time without epoxy, and there's no reason to do that. So with abuse on this knife, I don't think you're going to have to worry about your handle falling off. The blade shape is a drop point, almost like a pen knife or a Swiss Army knife style blade shape, and it has the slightest bit of recurve. I'm not sure if that was intentional, but the blade style is very functional. It's a very thin stock with a thin grind, but it's also thick enough where you could do some outdoor tasks such as small batoning, and this would make a great day hiking knife. Another thing is we have an arch on the spine, and it's also completely rounded. I like knife makers with completely rounded spines because they know the purpose of the knife as far as using it for a long time. So like say, this is a crummy looking stick, but let's just say you're whittling on this thing for hours or 30 minutes or so. Your thumb isn't going to be eaten up by jimping. So like say this knife by Bastinelli. Now this is really good jimping. It's not really coarse or anything, but it's secure, and it's also neat because it's rounded as well. I've never seen jimping like this, but I really enjoy the style. But with this worker knife, this Uddopuukko, there's no chance of the spine or the jimping tearing into your thumb. So you don't have to have work gloves or anything. You can just get in there and do your work. And just check out Oscar for a second. But yeah, he likes to steal the show. But again, a rounded spine makes a really good working knife, and as long as I'm using this thing properly, there's no way I'm going to slip up on the blade. I mean, this knife isn't meant to stab things and all that, although it will stab material. Like if I were going to open up a bag of food for my dog or something, you know, it would be perfect for that. So we have the handle, we have the blade shape with the rounded off spine, we have the convex grind, and I really enjoy this bluing that he put on the blade, and this is something that Austin, his Satsu 5 commented on. It's really attractive looking. It's dark, but it still has a reflective quality. There's no etching or stone wash, but that's very different, and it's going to protect this carbon steel blade from rusting, just like a firearm. Although you can note that the sheath is rubbing the blade, but that doesn't bother me at all. You know, that's just how a Kydex sheath works, and I'd rather have a Kydex sheath than a leather sheath anyway, so I can carry it around. Now, as far as this thing carries, this is the type of shirts I normally wear. They're somewhat tight, and to be truthfully honest, it imprints with these types of shirts. So when I do carry this knife, I'm normally walking my 3-mile walk every day, or I'm day hiking, and I have the knife outside the shirt. This Bastinelli knife, it's more of an EDC knife, and I can actually put it on and put it under the shirt and get it out when I need it. But this is more of a user worker knife, so I would like to carry it on the outside because you know, I'll be carving some wood or something, and then I can put it back in and 30 seconds later when it's time to cut something else, I'll have it out and ready instead of trying to dig it out in my shirt and all that. So this is the Uddopuukko by Udos from Germany, and if I get the name wrong, I'm sorry. I'll have more videos with this in the future, so I'll have many other times to get the name right. But man, this is an awesome knife. I can really tell you put a lot of thought into your design. It's very functional, and I would recommend this to anybody. He also sells these, so if you like this knife and if you'd like to try one out, he would love to make one for you. He absolutely loves knife making, and he's very passionate about his work, and it shows with the function of the knife. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day.